I'm guessing you watched the game last night?
I never miss England games unless, something's really more important. But I never miss England games under 21s or any of them.
Right. Okay.
If they're on, like even the women, I even watch all that.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So okay then, Terry, give us your views on last night.
Well, if we can all argue, Chris, about managers and coaches. We have to get to the real deep root of it all. And when you analyse it all, is coaches, managers, players, fans. Majority of them all got different opinions on football. Mm-hmm. That's one major problem. You're going to pick different type of players. I mean, over the years, and I keep repeating myself on this. I listened to Gary Neville the other night on about we don't know how to coach our midfield players. Well, it's not that we don't know how to coach them. What we do, we sign players which are box-to-box players and not technical players. Yeah. I mean, you get people saying, "No, they're going the other way now. They're trying to sign technical players." For me, it's not about whether they're big or small. It's players what can understand the game. Right. Then when you've got the players what can understand it, you've got to put the most important thing is managers. And when I looked at the England under 21s, I'm not here to criticise Adrian Boothroyd because he's got a different opinion how I want to play it. But when I watched them, they don't play as a team. Take Gray, for instance, who plays for Leicester. Looks a terrific player, looks a very good young player, but he's playing for himself. This is where your Cloughs, your Shankleys, your Guardiolas, your Klopps come in, because what they are really good at is this: they can discipline and hold the discipline without losing the dressing room. I don't think people like Boothroyd can. Yeah. He tries to be too nice with certain players, and then other players react to think, well, why is he getting away with this, and and I can't.
So discipline is the main one of the main things then, really.
It is coaches. It's the most important thing about any football team, and our ex-player is a manager. If you can get the right manager, get the right balance, and get the right blend between the manager and the player to play football, the manager wants to play a certain way of playing football. Yeah. He's got to get certain players to play that way, whatever way he wants to play, whether it's on the floor or a longer type of a game. They've got to get that type of player. But to sustain success, you've got to have players what's got natural flair. And if managers are going to sign players physically strong and wanting to pump the ball early to get it into the box, you might get a short-term success, but it's never going to sustain it. And going back to the game last night, I've analysed all the three games when I watched them play. First and foremost, pick your best players in their best positions. Yeah. That's the first thing we should do, right? Then what he's got to do is got to say, right, we're playing as a team. And if you're not in a good area in and around the penalty box, and you're shooting from silly angles, then I will pull you off. If you're going to play it across the box, I'll pull it back for players and play as a unit, because we shouldn't be bothered who scores. What we're looking for is results with a performance, especially nowadays, because it is starting to change where fans want a performance. Yes, results are the most important thing, but sometimes if you just keep getting a lucky result, eventually it's going to come against you, right? So for me, what they've got to do is pick players what can understand the game. Yeah. Midfield players what's not just not to box players. They've got to look for players what's going to make little angles, and then get one running off the ball. Again, I looked at it last night when they got in and around the box. There's no movement, and then the ball. Everybody gets everyone behind the ball. The opposition gets everyone behind the ball. So they're passing slowly. If you watch the great teams, what they do is into movement with it. One touch. So it's moving people out of place. Somebody gets the ball, has a run at someone. If you look at Croatia's goal last night, the first goal, we don't have it anymore where somebody picks up the ball and has a run at someone. Yes, could the fullback done better? Of course he could have done better. Where should he have sent him? He had him going down the line. It's not a threat going down the line, so he should have kept him there. But the trickiness and the craftiness of the Croatian player has thrown him, and he's come back on his side. Where were the covering on it? Not enough covering on it. So people then will be saying, well, you're saying one thing, and that's right, because the opposition are going to try and cause you problems. And what you've got to do is try and stop the problem when you haven't got the ball. We have to start to get back to looking at the basic form of football and how you're going to win football matches. And you have to look for top quality players. And when you look through, I mean, I'm 64, so I've seen it over the years. Yeah. Your Bremners, your Gileses, and they're no different, Bremner and Giles, compared to Iniesta and Xavi. When you look at modern day football, small players, and I'm not bothered whether they're small, but the players what could. Guy at Arsenal, who always had the problem with coming to my head. Vieira. Yeah. Tall player, but technically skillful player. So that's what you've got to look for, technical skill. Because on the pitch, you've got to be able to handle the ball under pressure. You've got to be handle the ball when the team's not playing well. You've got to be handle the ball and get players to gel when things are going wrong and the fans are on your back. It's all these little things, and that's why it's important that you get the right manager. I mean, Boothroyd was brought up playing the long ball, and then he's coming to the England reckoning, trying to change his way, and he's caught in between. That's in my opinion. Again, even though I don't like the long ball, it's not I'm against it, because that's the way a manager wants to play it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's his opinion. Now, I don't want to play that way. But now he's coming to this the England setup, and the wanting to change how they want to play football, and they're getting caught between the right and the wrong. Now, when I look at the mistakes they're making, they are silly mistakes. Now, if you're going to keep making mistakes, it's going to cost you games. And if you're going to play out from the back, you've got to be able to handle the situation in a better way. What we're doing, Stones. What does he do? He dwells on the ball. All he has to do is knock the ball back, turn out, make another angle to receive the ball. And he don't. He wants to dwell on the ball. I looked at the boy, Kelly, the left back. To me, looks a good player. He makes a mistake. Now, mistakes are all right if you learn from them. And all he's done is to underpass. And these are things what we've got to do. But when you look at the team itself, the problem for me was they don't play as a unit. They do not play as a team. There's no interaction with his little angles. It's I'll get it, I'll hold it, 3 seconds later I'll pass it. Split seconds gives the opposition time to get behind the ball. And they've got to start to move it quickly. Then we've got to have somebody what's going to be able to run at the opposition. Then we're going to have players what can run off the ball. Yes, you want the ball when you make the run, but if you make that run, it creates space for other people to come into, and somebody else might get it. Yeah. It's little things like that. And we say little things, they're not little things, they're big things. And this is what's got to be done if you're going to be successful. And there's all sorts of reasons why we're not producing or winning European champions. I mean, yes, we won European Cups, the old European Cup, with British players. Now we're winning Champions League with foreign players, and everybody complains we don't get a chance at this. Yeah. We don't get a chance. There's a reason why we're not getting a chance. It's the coaching method. All they're doing, these coaches are looking to defend. They're too scared to lose a football match. And you'll never win a football match if you don't attack. No. I'm not daft. You've got to be able to defend. You've got to be able to do both. And how do you do it? Well, that's down to the manager. He should be able to see it. He should be able to see where we're going wrong and where we're not going wrong at any level of football, whether it's Premier League, Fourth Division, or for Championship 2, or whether it's a national team. And until we get that right, we're going to keep struggling. We're going to struggle for coaches in this country. And when I said we're not going to struggle for coaches, we're going to struggle for our coaches to get at the top level. You hear them all turn around and say they don't get a fair crack of the whip. Yeah. There's a reason for it. They must not like the way how they coach. They must not like the way how they play football. But for some unknown reason, they always keep getting jobs. Yeah. I mean, we can go to a Boothroyd. What's your views on him being given a 3-year contract? That's a bit of a strange one. That is the national way of running it. I mean, I'm going to come back to Boothroyd. When Cloughy should have got the job, he went for an interview. They don't really give Ron Green with it. No. They want people what's going to say yes and no to 3 bags full. We're never going to change that. You, I, Gabby, ex-players, money, they're never going to change it. Boothroyd getting a 3-year contract. I get that. I really get it, getting a 3-year contract. If there's progress. But he's got the best young players in the country. He's got the best young players to pick from. It's not like a football manager. He's got players where he can turn around and say, right, this is how we're going to play. We're either going to play the long ball or we're going to play a keep ball type of ball, but we're going to play with a tempo, right? And if we don't play as a unit, then I'll pull you off. He can't do that. He's looking for players to help him. None of us are in that environment, so we can see what's happening. But majority of managers, I know how they work. They'll have certain players what they can rely on. I mean, you hear them turn around. People like Boothroyd will turn around and say, "I want players that I can rely on. I know what they're going to do." That is the daftest statement I've ever heard from football managers. It is, and I'll tell you the reason why I think it's a daftest statement. If you get players like what can like a Stambols type of thing, we know Stan's not playing now, but Ford, and he does the unexpected thing. The opposition know what he's going to do, so they don't have an advantage. But if they know what he's going to do, they'll relate to it. They'll talk about it in the dressing room. He'll go on his left. He's more left. He wants to be more on his left foot, so get him onto his right foot. You know he's going to pass it. You know he's going to hit a more diagonal ball. Why would you want the opposition to know what you're going to do? So you've got to have the unexpected player in the team. Now, if the unexpected player's not doing it, I don't give a damn who he is. But it's Ronaldo, Messi. If they're not doing it, then you leave them out, just like everybody else. But they don't. They want the same type of player, what they think they can rely on. And when has A.D. Boothroyd ever won anything thinking that way? And this is not having a go at him. When has he ever won out thinking that way? Somebody's going to say to me, he took Watford up. How long for? A week? They got relegated the following season.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to be a successful manager and to sustain it, you've got to be able to do what Bob Paisley did. You've got to be able to do what Klopp and them do nowadays in football. You know, the Pochettinos. Until we get that way of thinking in our game, right, we're never ever going to succeed. We're going to keep getting more and more managers, foreign coaches into the game. And I'll tell you this, it won't be long before foreign coaches are wicked in our academies, and I guarantee you that. Yeah, that's what will happen. I said there'd be all seater stadiums, they're all seater stadium. I said there'd be foreign coaches and foreign players, the foreign coaches and foreign players. Years ago, I said this, and they've only themselves to blame. They've only themselves to blame. Yeah, the reason why they don't get jobs.
Yeah. It's a sad day. Well, it will be a sad day.
It is a sad day.
Yeah,
it is. It's a sad day for football.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I get where people have different opinions on football. I get it. But that's all right. But for some unknown reason, we've gone down the long ball route, and they've had more opportunities than the other. I mean, these managers got to learn the trade at a lower level. They've never worked at the lower level. They've worked with players what can play football. That's why half of them fail, because they're going to the lower level. Yeah. Because the players down at the lower level, you know, are not particularly good to their standards what they've been working at. If you look at the football clubs, right? Chelsea's a prime example. You know, how many players they've got, I'm not quite sure, but they had 42 players out on loan. Now, them players are not getting the games, so maybe at Norwich, right? Yeah. When they should have, if they weren't at Chelsea, they'd be playing at Norwich in the Premier League or at Bournemouth. They're not. They're sat on a bench, or might we not out on loan for 6 games. That's no good. They want to be playing on a regular game, on a regular basis. And what they're doing, some of these players, Liverpool, they'll have 40 players. Man United, 40 or 50 players. So all these top players are not now playing at these other clubs. Yeah. And so it's not feeding down. And what we finished up doing is signing athletic or box-to-box players. And defenders what are big and strong, right, can get it and kick it long. But then, when they get to a certain age, they've levelled out. They've levelled out with the game. They're never going to improve. Yeah. So, you know, I've always been the Lone Ranger what's fought against it. And when you get people like me outnumbered with them all, Sam Allardyce, Wilkinson, Bassett, who they're going to listen to? They're not going to listen to me. They're in football.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
So and that's the problem you've got. That's the problem you've got. Trish.
Yeah. Right. And Terry. Okay, then Terry, we're going to end this now. But yeah, many thanks for chatting to us this morning, and we'll speak again soon.
No problems, Chris, and thank you again.
Cheers, buddy. Ta-ra.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
Bye.